You had your whole life to prepare for this moment. Why aren't you ready?
I'm tired, sir.
Do you wish to quit? If your mission is to quit, there's no better time than right now. You can quit now. Get it over with.
Forget that.
What's up? It's your buddy John with the week 7 and 8 update. So sorry, missed last week. I don't know what's going on. I'm on some bullshit. Um yeah, it's been weird. Trying to get back on the horse, trying to get back into it. Uh Man, the consistency for me, it just isn't I don't know. I guess I'm not that excited. I guess I'm not as excited as I was when I started at the beginning of the year. And maybe that's because I gave so much away after I, you know, took so much back, took my life back a little bit, took 100 pounds off. Now we've been back at it, and it just hasn't been going like it did the first time. And yeah, I just don't know. I don't know what it's about. I was thinking about it this week. I was talking to the homie P, and yeah, my boy Preston, he's always locked in. He's always paying attention. He knows what's up, and we always have great conversations about life and that kind of stuff. And we were talking, and I was talking about the first time that I got through this. We did the 6 months, and we lost 100 pounds, and I was telling him, he was kind of like, "Yo, what happened? Like, why do you think you went backwards?" And I went over a few things. There were some things that happened that I was discussing with him. But then, I was really thinking about it, like the biggest thing, if I'm being honest, and I try to be, my buddy Robbie will tell you, Rob, shout out Rob, if you don't lie to yourself, no one can lie to you. And I've been telling Rob that for years. And so that's the thing is, if we think about what happened, why do you think this is? Why do you think you think this is bothering you so much, or why do you think you slid backwards? I guess that was more the appropriate question. And it was like, I remember going for one of the few walks I did after I dropped 100 pounds. I went for a walk with my buddy Indra. Shout out Indra, the homie. And he's like, "Dude, you lost 100 pounds. It's awesome. How do you feel?" And I remember we were walking around the park that's by my house. And I just said, it was, I felt like this whole thing was anticlimactic. When I told myself I was going to lose weight, I had a goal in mind, like something specific that I was aiming for. Okay. And I lost 100 pounds. And, I had set goal in mind. And as soon as I lost 100 pounds, I looked around and, I told Indra, I said, "Dude, what has really changed in my life?" I said, long term health effects, obviously, but those are to be determined down the road. If I live another 50 years, we can look at this and say, like, yeah, it's probably a good thing you lost 100 pounds. Um, but outside of that, that's long term. That's like big picture, macro, 30,000 foot view of things. But the immediacy of what I was looking for, wasn't there. You know, And when I think about that, it's like, and again, this is nobody's fault but my fault. When I think about that, I say, okay, and I guess I got to be specific because you guys know what I'm talking about. You know, people for the last, I don't know, I've been divorced like 6 years, 7 years, something like that, and you know, people are always like, "Yeah, how come we don't see you dating?" or X, Y, Z, and it's like, well, when you're 300 plus pounds, confidence level might not be up there. And then I hear people say, like, some women like big guys. And that may be true. And it's not a problem for me. Like, if you like big guys, great, you know. But I wasn't happy with me. So, when I started to lose weight, one of the things I said was like, I'm in the second part of my life, or I'm coming up on the second part of my life. You know, my first marriage didn't work, but that doesn't mean that's how I want to end it. Just like, hey, my marriage ended at 34 or whatever, and we just don't try again, you know? So that was part of my goal was like, we'll lose weight, we'll get our confidence back up, and then we'll get out there and we'll see what's in store for Big John Fitz. So when I lost 100 pounds, I looked around and it was like, huh, still a single man. And, it's not surprising because I wasn't like on apps. I wasn't going out and about every weekend, like I wasn't doing the things you would do, and not even saying those things specifically. I wasn't doing anything to facilitate prospects for a relationship in the future, right? So if you're not doing things working towards that, can you really be upset if that's not going on in your life? And the real answer is no, that wouldn't make any sense. But the truth is, if I'm being honest, and I always want to be honest with myself, like, yeah, it kind of was like that for me. It was like, oh, yeah, like you're not going to lose 100 pounds and find yourself in a relationship or potential relationship if you haven't put yourself out there. But for some reason, I was like, oh, I lost 100 pounds and nothing's changed. And then I just didn't care. And it's illogical. It doesn't make any sense, clearly. But that's where I was with it. And it's like, damn. And so people like making plans for themselves in their lives. And you know why they like doing it? And this is all my opinion. I don't know if there's science back in this, and I haven't researched it. Well, let's say this. People, in my opinion, like making plans because of the prospect of the plan, right? If I make a plan and I say, like this year I'm going to make $10 million and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and this is going to bring me where I am. It's the hope of, like I've told myself, if I do X, Y, and Z and I play my cards right, I can end up here. And people like that. Everybody likes hope. Everybody likes to be hopeful. Well, I think, but maybe everybody doesn't. Maybe some people are just so shut off they don't really care about it. But like, I think your run-of-the-mill person likes to be hopeful about their life. They like to be hopeful that great things can happen in their life. And so, but then there's like, all right, let's say we do all that. Let's say we do all the things we say are supposed to work in our favor and we still don't get to the end goal. Then what? And I wasn't prepared for the then what, right? I lost 100 pounds and it didn't dawn on me that I could lose 100 pounds and like still be not putting myself out there, not trying to talk to anybody, or not, not doing any of the things necessary to go and get what I want. And, that's a tough pill to swallow. Like, you make a plan and then you kind of follow through with the plan, like, right, lose 100 pounds. We do that. And it's like, all right, we got a set goal. We're doing this because we're trying to rebuild some confidence and we're trying to do these things here. We're trying to get where we want to go. And then you also you don't do the entirety of what's needed to execute the plan. You just do like the first part of it. And that's where I found myself, and then was completely surprised when nothing was different, when I didn't even try to do anything in that area of, interest. So I don't know. It put me in a bad place. Right now, I'm still trying to get out of it, obviously. I didn't. So I took my weight last week, and it was 258.3. So it was like 1.3 or 1.4 pounds lost again, another week. And then this week I took it and we're at 256.7. So I think that's a loss of 1.68. So again, we have consistently, over a pound every week, pound and a half, somewhere in that range, which would be considered great. And yet there's still something that's making me feel like none of this is enough, because I had lost more. I was losing more weight consistently when I started at the beginning of the year. And I don't know. I don't know if it's like a block because we gave so much back. So now it's like there's a certain part of me that's like, what's the point of, doing it if you're just going to give it back? And again, there's nothing that says I have to lose it and then put it back on. But, you just look at your history and say, well, that's what you've done. So I don't know. But, yeah, so I not even keeping track of food. Obviously, I haven't been walking a lot. Um, but obviously I've been doing enough flying by the seat of my pants to lose a pound a week, whether that's in my deficit and making sure I get enough sleep. But yeah, walking, I haven't been locked in. I haven't been locked in on like tracking my calories. Like just, and I just look at it and just say like, dude, if you know this is what you're trying to do, what are you afraid of? Like, what are you seriously afraid of? You know what you need to do to make it happen. You've done it before. So let's just lock back in. But there's a certain part of me, I don't know if it's hesitant. I'm not sure. We're coming up on the new year. By the way, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I know I did. Yeah. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. I really do. And, this week we're going into New Year's 2026. And, here's another opportunity. Maybe we can reclaim that magic at the start of 2025. But I was also thinking about it, and I don't want to do this either. I don't want to have to wait until the beginning of every year. Like, all right, it's time to get serious, dog. New year, and, new life. Yeah, that seems like I'm not saying it's not bad to have benchmarks and all that, and there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, new year, we're gonna do some things differently. Like that's what New Year's resolutions are for. But I don't want to have to do this every year. I don't want to have to refocus myself at the end of every year and be like, all right, we got a new year coming up. Now it's time for an overhaul. Like, I just need to find some consistency, and I just need to find enjoyment in doing the things that need to be done. Like, I want these to be long-term changes anyways. I don't just want them to be changes for a season in life. Like, I want to be locked in and making sure that I'm eating well for the rest of my life, eating the stuff I need to eat, eating the proper amount of calories. When it's time to get in the gym, I want to make sure that I'm in there regularly, doing the things I need to do to be healthy. I want all that to happen. And I can't guarantee all that'll happen, but I'm hoping. I hope that when I'm doing the things I'm supposed to do, there will be a certain satisfaction with it where I'll say, no, I like this. We need to keep this in our everyday life. But as of right now, like it's just been a struggle. This last, since I started doing this again, like we've lost weight every week for the most part, and it is what it is, and I'm not complaining about it. I'm not. I'm disappointed that I can't seem to lock in like I did at the beginning of the year, and I don't know what's different. I mean, I guess my mindset's a little bit different because I've been humbled by the fact I took 100 off and put 60 back on in 5 months. Like, so your boy's over here trying to figure it out. I guess we're almost at that point. The year is almost over. We got a new year upon us, 2026. I have the same outlook for 2026 that I have for 2025. Big things. If I ask my daughter, I'm sure she'll say it'll be my year again this year, like she said it would be my year in 2025. But yeah, I'm hoping to figure it out. I was listening to somebody talk on, I don't know if I was on YouTube or whatever. And the dude said something that really resonated with me. He said, yeah, if you can't do it for yourself, you can't find the energy to do something for yourself, do it for the ones around you that you care about. And sometimes, my mom has always said that to me, like, John, when you're too busy worrying about yourself, when you can't get out of your own head, go do something for somebody else. And I mean, I think that's the right approach, right? Like, when you find yourself obsessed with yourself, it's time to worry about other people. Like, you have to stop thinking about yourself, think about other people, and don't worry about yourself. The stuff will, things will fall into place one way or the other. But while you're worrying about other people, you're not worried about yourself. And worrying about other people is not a bad problem to have. Trying to make sure other people that are in your life that mean stuff to you, making sure that they're good. Like, if that gets you out of whatever funk you're in because you're not worried about you, because your priority is making sure everybody else is cool, then that's what it's got to be. And maybe that's what it's got to be in my life. I don't know. We're going to have to figure it out. This is something's been weighing on me for the last couple weeks. And yeah. So I'm trying to figure some things out. I'm trying to make sure every Sunday these videos are out. I'm trying to make sure that I'm tracking the things I need to track. I'm trying to make sure that I'm going out and getting my physical activity in. I'm trying to make sure I get my sleep in. And then I just found myself like, I guess maybe it's not that important. But I don't want it to be like that. Doesn't make any sense. I mean, look, I'm healthier than I was last year to start the year. I'm still down, almost 60 or almost 50 pounds or whatever. And that's fine. It's disappointing considering I was down 100, but what are you going to do? Like, this is the reality. And we can't worry about what's already happened, and we can't pretend I didn't put a lot of weight back on. Or we can. I guess we don't have to focus on the future. We can just focus on the now and the failures, or the way I view things as failure. And then we never have to try anymore because we're so obsessed with what we view as a letdown. I don't know. Anyways, that's all I got. I'll be back next week. Like, share, subscribe, comment. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here, I appreciate you rocking with my videos. This is something that I enjoy putting energy into. I really do. It gives me something to do. I spend a lot of time kind of staring at the ceiling, and that's not even an exaggeration. Like, there's times where it's like, oh, what are you gonna do? And it's like, I'll just lay in my chair and stare at the ceiling because I feel overwhelmed, even though I'm not particularly overwhelmed. There's just this, I don't know, this sense of dread, or the other shoe's gonna drop, or something. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. And maybe you guys know what I'm saying, and you could explain it to me. But anyway, that's all I got. I'll see you next week. Till then, it's your buddy John. Out.
God, your hands are green. Because they got hit by lightning.